Remembering the essence and the greatness that you already are. Every day we allow ourselves to get put into different perspectives, different choices, different obligations, responsibilities. Sometimes from our own, sometimes from the world around us. But as you look into all these choices and you see the heart, what it does, as your heart decides to feel emotions, which is energy, right? Energy in motion, energy moving. It's a feeling. Where is it going? It's the aura, right? So imagine when you feel these things, you're around people by yourself. In your true feelings, by yourself or around others, it's always still a mirror. And as you reflect on yourself, you may not project, you don't project as much because you have an inner essence that you're choosing to see that doesn't need to go external for validation, for appreciation of all these different choices and different scenarios, different obligations, for even the mistakes, the doubts, someone else's. So as you choose to reflect, even when you hear bad energy reflected on, or let's say deflected, or let's say projected on top of your essence, your great inner self. Let's call it a great inner self. Let's not just say the greatness, right? Because as you understand that it's a bunch of different inner selves fighting you from your great inner self. It's the false self, the true self. We'll get into those. A little later. I don't want you to remember the negative right now anyway. But you have to understand that is how we get to the positive. And as I understand, a lot of people that I've encountered in my recent years, even in all my psychology studies, even in it could be the digital marketing class, it could be hypnotherapies, things that you grow to study, and you see as you study the greats, we have so much information to study and to know that we already have. The more you look into your inner self, other people's perspective, the choices that they made on your life, all of it seems to align in a different, greater peace. And as I just study forgiveness in a greater perspective to shame versus forgiving for yourself, for them the complete way, is so much more impactful than we allow sometimes. And that's the permission that the superior force of this world is wanting you to give your will to, your greater inner self. All the different ways of chakras, and whether it's Hindu, whether it's the Christian way, so all of those methods. Not to say, hey, let's follow that God, let's follow this. The God, the superior God of all those beings, have allowed us a way to study even the other God, the sons of God, not the Son of Man. Well, we allowed us both, but however, what I mean is, that's the thing, where other gods are real, and that's the will. When you see they have powers. You are more powerful in your will than some of them without will. And that's our deeper entity of self. That is the God to create life, to create choices. So as you grateful for those choices versus how those choices come out, you realize something about the inner peace and remembering the essence. The reason that you came here, the reason that we all have landed in these places of study is seeking these truths that came to you for a reason. I would not allow AI to give you this message you need to hear from me. However, hear from yourself. And through these different conduits of choices, scenarios, obligations, experiences, we create the perception. And when they say the mind and the brain were two different things, in the perceptive world, and the fact that we can know they are different things, is the power itself of what we are examining. Because to know there's perception is to have a capacity about perception. And as you look into your inner self and remember your essence of who you already are, that great moment of childhood happened and you lit up when you touched these things, and even if the outlets were limited, and you found creative ways to be in a vacuum of lava as a kid, to be in a jungle, to be another person with your own hands, with another toy, all of these great creatives are always inside. And I used to tell my sister all the time, my big sister, great ambitious spirit and soul, and just been through quite a lot, and then I speak on how they say remembering, we gotta, get back to being that, or we gotta stick together, or the fam, or even I gotta get back to myself. And the acknowledgement that we're detached from our greater self has allowed different, darker acceptance and darker, we would say, stresses to come and conquer our greater essence. But I always tell even my sister and any other realists that have reality of what their conscious, their first conscious is seeing. That's why we always say this first mind thing is really all illusion to get you to understand what you're truly trying to grasp in your cognitive dissonance, let's just say. So as we get back and remembering self versus to in the new self, as well as killing the old self, it's still all in which one are you going to eliminate? Because as you create these characters of life for other people, the empaths of that we created by seeing others and trauma bonding, seeing others' problems, trauma bonding through, and supporting even the false narrative with the agendas of wanting things back and the motives of deserving and entitlements of deprivation. So as we come to these new realities, you are a powerful person in reality, and you have to tell this to yourself, not just for the typical affirmation, the false belief in the advertisement of I'm healed. No, but to say and to expect results is bigger than any placebo, any doctor, real doctor, prophet, false prophet can give. See, people want to prove falsely more than they want to prove themselves righteous or better. And that's become the world of the strong getting poked at to see how strong they are. And as you allow these pokings to happen, because your comfortability of their validation, because of your acceptance of bad expectations, bad values, because as you don't accept them, you actually create them. As you thinking about what you don't want, you create that very thing. As you think about who didn't do, you create more of that ideal of when people do, it is fake. When people do, it is a hidden agenda. It's not real, because it's not your expectations of your greater essence deserving and already having the support, already having the true identity in yourself. So as you come to this page in this channel, and even as you understand, even in my essence of flaws of communications and dialect and how we speak, I will allow these flaws and allow those slips of tongue for my people, for us, and authenticity of who we are. We create so much perfect world of things because that's how everyone have standardized versus expected. And your expectations is what you truly get in this world, not what you want or believe. Because to believe is to not know, honestly. And the more you don't know,